Hello there, and welcome to the Fish Tank Barn. A couple of months ago, the Medina County Aquarium Society in Northeast Ohio reached out to me and asked me to speak at their club. We agreed to do a talk titled, A Fish Keeper's Journey into the World of Goodeids and Other Rare Live Bearers with a Side of Clownfish Breeding. I just returned from my trip to Ohio and really had a great trip. I got to see some pretty interesting fish stores, the Tidal Gardens Coral Farm, and a fish room that had some rare Goodeids that I'd never seen before. I did film my talk, so I'll show you a small section of the talk as well. So let's go ahead and get started on my fishy journey to Northeast Ohio. It's about a 3-hour drive to Medina from the Fish Tank Barn, and I arrived there around noon. A member of the club picked me up, we had lunch, and headed to our first stop, which is the Tidal Gardens Coral Farm, located in Copley, Ohio. For those of you that may not know, I started my fish keeping career in saltwater, so visiting a coral farm again really brought back some memories. I have visited quite a few coral farms before, and this was by far one of the best facilities I've ever had the chance to visit. As you can imagine, there were plenty of corals to be had, but they also had some of the healthiest fish that I've ever seen. Along with that, they had also set up some pretty amazing display tanks. I'm going to go ahead and stop talking and let you just take in the experience of Tidal Gardens for a few moments. We spent a good 2 hours at Tidal Gardens, and honestly, I could have spent all day there. Our time was up, and we headed to one of the local fish stores, which was Great Lakes Fish and Coral, located in Macedonia, Ohio. I can best describe this store as a small boutique type shop that specializes in both fresh and saltwater fish. There was a pretty decent selection of coral available as well. While there were both fresh and saltwater display tanks in the store, this reef tank with the eel was one that definitely caught my eye. I really enjoyed Great Lakes and what they had to offer, but it was time for dinner and to prepare for my talk. The club meeting was a short distance from the restaurant where we had dinner, which was very convenient. So without further ado, let's go ahead and listen to a short excerpt from my talk. So with that, let's get into the Goodeid piece of this. This is very general Goodeid information. I am not an ichthyologist. I'm not a scientist. And so this is kind of my experience plus, stuff from the internet, stuff I've learned. So basically, Goodeids are named after Gordon Brown Good, who was an American ichthyologist back in the 1880s. There are currently 20 separate genera of Goodeids. Most of them are from central Mexico, but there are some in the United States, around Nevada. You can see the names there. And you're going to learn two things. You're going to learn one, I'm very bad at Spanish. And while I'm okay at pronouncing Latin names, I'm not perfect. So there's Empericthes and Crinichthes. And I'm going to keep flipping the slides again. So one thing we need to keep in mind when we're talking about Goodeids, majority of those fish are endangered. There's either introduction of non-native species, habitat destruction in Mexico for various reasons. We'll kind of see this as a theme throughout the presentation as we talk about each individual species. So, one thing I kind of like to know is where things are. If I, watch a video and someone says, oh, I'm in Mississippi or I'm in Alabama, I'm in this city, I always kind of want to know where it is. So here, these are where all the Goodeids are. And this is going to drive me nuts, I'm sorry. So this is where all the Goodeids are, right here. So you're going to see these names come up as I go through where the species are located. You're going to see the names of these states repeat themselves over and over again as we go through this. Another favorite of mine, this is another one that I've not had a lot of success with, and I actually have a last minute update on this, what we'll get to in a minute. This is Cracodon audax from El Toboso. Another one of my favorites. I love the males on this. Got the nice silver body, black fins. Fortunately, it washes out a little bit with the camera. So I had a trio of these fish from 2021 for 2024. Probably probably, I think I lost them January, February timeframe. These are native to creeks in the state of Durango, where it lives in spring-fed ponds and creeks. This is endangered due to pumping of groundwater, another culprit. There is a pretty cool variant of this fish from the Los Pinos location, which is my holy grail fish. And that fish is extinct in the wild, but instead of the black fins that you saw in that fish, that has the red fish. And I had an opportunity to buy that fish one time, and I decided not to spend the money, and I regret it. So I know who has that fish, and I will pester them and see if I can get it. The males are extremely territorial. I kind of find these fish to be kind of nasty to each other from the male perspective. At one point I did have more than a trio, and males kind of disappeared, except for one. This is another smaller one, 2 to 2.5 gallons, another 29 gallon tank. This one eats fry, which is probably one of the reasons I wasn't successful. At one point I did see a couple fry, but never was really that successful with it to the point where I could BAP it at the club. And this one's one that's kind of not tolerant of higher temperatures as well. So the last minute update, we had our club meeting last night, and a gentleman in our club happened to bring these in for the Breeders Award program, and someone also happened to buy them again. That would be me. So that's the last minute update that didn't make it on the slide because I didn't want to update the slide at 10 o'clock last night when I got home. So we're back in business with cracking on Audax. So we'll see what I can do. My talk lasted a little bit longer than I thought, at 1 hour and 49 minutes, but the crowd was really locked in and really enjoyed it. After my talk, they had the typical club meeting stuff with their mini auction, which was a lot of fun. The one cool thing about the auction was that some of the Goodeid keepers from Northeast Ohio came out, and I was able to add some new fish to my collection. I'll have to say, I had a pretty good first day here in Ohio. After breakfast the next morning, we met up and hit some more of the fish stores in the area. The first fish store that we stopped at was Aquatica Aquarium Gallery in Valley City, Ohio. This was the largest fish store on the tour and had absolutely everything you could possibly need for both your fresh and saltwater aquariums. Being such a large store, it had almost any type of fish that you could be looking for as well. All the fish were healthy and doing well. And like Tidal Gardens, I could have spent all day in this store filming. After Aquatica, we stopped by Aquatic Technology in Columbia Station, Ohio. This was a full-service saltwater-only store that had a greenhouse-type setup. You can find a wide selection of saltwater fish in the store, including some pretty rare fish like this black tang. All the fish in the store were extremely well cared for and healthy, which is always a plus. One of the coolest parts of my visit to this store was seeing the marine breeding room that they had set up in the back of the store. One of their main projects was breeding the Hawaiian variety of harlequin shrimp. Seeing this marine breeding setup really brought me back to the days when I was really into saltwater fish breeding. After Aquatic Technologies, we stopped for lunch at Cane's, which we don't have in Michigan, so it was definitely a treat, and then headed to Agnoquatics in Broadview Heights, Ohio. The best way I can describe this store is a great little fish store in a small package. Along with your typical selection of dry goods, this fish store had a really great selection of fish as well. One of the things that really struck me out as unique about this store is its wide selection of large mature groups of rainbow fish. Needless to say, I really enjoyed my visit at Agnoquatics. After visiting Agnoquatics, it was time to complete my tour with the folks from the Medina County Aquarium Society. At the club meeting, Josh Cook, one of the local Goodeid keepers, invited me over to his house to take a look at his Goodeid fish room. I'll have to say, this was absolutely amazing because he had some Goodeid species that I had never seen before. That's quite a feat when it comes to rare live bears, and there aren't too many people that can say that. We filmed for about an hour, and I really did enjoy meeting Josh and seeing his great fish room. I really hope you enjoyed coming along on my journey to Northeast Ohio. That area has a really great fish community with a wide variety of different stores and interests. I really like to take this time to thank the Medina County Aquarium Society for having me out to speak and taking me out to all of these different places. If you happen to be in the Northeast Ohio area, I would highly recommend checking out the Medina County Aquarium Society. They meet the second Friday of the month at 7 p.m. I also want to thank the businesses for taking their time and allowing me to film. It was really a lot of fun. Stay tuned over the next few weeks as I plan to release more in-depth videos of all the different places that I visited. So with that, stay safe, stay fishy, and I'll catch you on the next video.